Thank you. And thank you for your time again and your beautiful energy for being here with us. So, share with them again because perhaps some of the people are just tuning in and then they didn't quite heard your story. But you fell down around December, right, of last year.
Okay, on December 5th, I
December
fell.
5th. Okay.
And normally I don't fall, I keep running. But this time I didn't have a choice. I
Uh-huh.
was up on a small elevation in a parking lot. Next thing I know, I'm down at the bottom. I go, oh, okay, well, I can get up and walk. Well, no, I couldn't. And that didn't make sense to me because it's like, well, no, wait a minute. I do energy healing. I should be able to just get up and walk. And all I could do was basically crawl
Right.
over to the edge and kind of sit. And we had firemen
Mm.
and ambulances, and they said, well, we can take you to the hospital, we can take you to urgent care, or your husband can get you. And I said, I'll take my husband, please. Because I said, I'm not going to the hospital and I'm not going to urgent care.
Mm.
I'm that kind of person that goes, we should be able to figure this out. And this was
Mm.
something that I just have to tell everybody is as a hypnotherapist, I deal with people in pain all the time. I don't think I've ever experienced a pain like what I experienced. And so for me, this was humbling, but it also taught me also what other people have been experiencing. So what I did is I texted Vivian and said, Vivian, I've fallen. She said, keep warm. I'll see you tomorrow. And just to let everybody know, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, and I couldn't support my weight. The firemen literally poured me into my husband's car.
Wow.
So Vivian met me the next day out in the parking lot in the rain and started working on me. She worked on me for
A
about an
little
hour and
drizzle.
a
It
half.
wasn't raining that bad.
And
Yep.
you have to understand, I couldn't stand or walk or anything like that. When she got through with me, I was standing and I went, oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom. She says, okay, well, we'll walk across the parking lot and you can go to the bathroom. And we walked back and then she said, don't move for 3 days. And I didn't, I couldn't. And the reason being is, Vivian, would you like to tell people what you discovered while you were working on me?
Sure, sure. So I wanted to share the human MRI side of me, right? So when Lisa
Please.
came, she said she couldn't walk, and I said, just try. And she just couldn't even straighten out her legs. But it's because the arteries and the veins that run through her right leg, from the buttocks, from the low back to the buttocks, was twisted and it kind of went sideways. So we call that lateral in the medical term. So instead of it going through like the hamstrings, the middle of the hamstrings, so part of it was on one side and then it kind of crossed on the other side, on the medial side, and it twisted
Mm-hmm.
and torqued itself. So it was like a twisted artery and vein together. So I have to untwist it, and of course there would be some blood leak, right? Hence, there's the hematoma or a bruise, is what we call it in layman's terms. So she had a
Mm-hmm.
big old bruise at the bottom of her buttocks, like literally half of her thigh was bruised up. So
It
if
was
you
black
just
and blue.
repair, right, that's why she can't move, right? Because if your blood vessel is about to burst, you cannot move. Your body will think of that as an emergency and it will go, well, wait a minute, do you want to die or do you want to live? Right? So walking becomes secondary to living, if that makes sense to all of you. Yeah. So after I untwisted, right? So I untwisted her blood vessels so that she can actually, so the blood
Walk.
vessels can start doing something to give blood, transport blood to where it's needed. Then she could stand up after about 1.5 hours of working with her. Took a while to repair that. So you know how when you just painted your fences, like let's say, you're not supposed to touch it, right? So that's the reason why I said, please don't do anything for the next 3 days. Like check in on a hotel and do something, like just be pampered and be by yourself or take care of, have someone take care of you during that time. That was my recommendation to her.
So Vivian had me do that. I checked into a hotel, and she came and saw me 3 more times. But during this time, everybody, sometimes the universe has an interesting message for us. They sometimes want us to go inside ourselves, and sometimes they make it so that you can't do anything else but do that. Because remember, I can't walk, I can't do anything. And
Right.
this was a real spiritual awakening to be with myself. And Vivian came in and saw me a few more times and did some major work with me on my own internal healing. And being a hypnotherapist, every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. That's a Emile Coué's thing. So every day and every way, I was getting better and better. I talked to my body to say, hey, you're healing. I would mark progress every day. And the last thing I want to tell everybody is I said, I'm a Christmas miracle. On or before Christmas, I'm walking. Okay,
So how many days did it feel to
December
be-
5th, I fell. I checked into the hotel December 9th. December 21st, I was proclaimed healed. I could walk upstairs, I could walk, I could do everything. Fast forward 3 months later, Vivian had invited me to go to Egypt to the Women's Economic Forum, where I got to speak on miracles. So I want everybody to realize that you're all a miracle. We have the miracle of life, and we need to let everybody in this world know that they're a miracle, so that they want to stay and participate in their life and become the people who they're meant to be. And just to let you know, on March, what was it? It was March 9th. We walked in Egypt and somebody had a Fitbit. I did over 16,000 steps in one day.
Wow, that's
So
a
if you
lot.
want to talk about being a miracle, yes. You want to talk about learning about how you're a miracle. I have to tell you, Vivian is just absolutely one of the most amazing teachers and inspirations I've ever come across. Because of her, I am the miracle I am today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. So just to let everyone know, normal healings, remember I'm a physical therapist by trade. It normally takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal. So any kind of fracture or any kind of soft tissue injury. So in this case, that was a soft tissue injury because she didn't have a bone. She didn't have a bone that was fractured. Okay, so nothing was broken. It's just the soft tissues like the muscles and the blood vessels, right? Some of the tendons that attach the muscle to the bone. Those are the ones that were injured. So soft tissue injuries takes about 2 months. Any kind of healing, if you think about it, but it's normal for the first 7 to 10 days. That's called the repair portion, wherein there's inflammation, right? Your body has to bring in these defense mechanism cells so that it can repair your body. So that's normal healing. Now, when you start bringing in spiritual energy and high frequency energy to your system, what happens is you change that program so you don't become part of the collective anymore. So I share with all of you this method because when you unplug your mindset and your energy from what the collective or the majority of the people are thinking, you can decide to heal faster. And you can decide to use a different frequency because we're all capable of that, right? We are all capable of healing. And honestly, it's like this. If you know you have a project or you have someone to help within a certain period of time, are you really going to go, hello, it's going to take me 2 months. I'm kind of bedridden. But because your mindset is you're bedridden for 2 months because everybody else is like that, if that makes sense. So I want to share with you that your mindset does matter, but at the same time, above your mindset is your soul's, your ability to grow and expand. So if you start going, well, how long would I like to heal? How fast would I like to heal? And if you start asking yourself a different question, you'll notice that you'll meet different teachers, you'll meet different modalities. There are so many things out there that would actually help you heal. Now, if there's a reason why you want to stay sick or ill, it's your decision, really your decision. So thank you, Lisa. And I'm going to call in some people that would like to experience what Lisa has experienced. So a lot of times when we don't know the root cause of the problem, right? because our brain and our mind doesn't want to change. That's just part of its job, is to defend you from changing, because at least you're familiar with your life right now, and if you don't know any better, then it's okay, right? It's like a rinse and repeat. Now the question is, if you're not healthy yet and you want to be healthier, there are methods for that. And I would like to ask the audience if they would like for me to do a demo, and for me to you're going to have to share a little bit of what it is that you have, or you don't have to say anything. I can read the energy and see what's causing the problem, and I can help you delete that issue, whatever that root cause is, so that you can actually be on your way to being healthy, wealthy, and wise. So you can ask me any question, whether it's a money issue, a relationship issue, or a health issue. So, Amy, do we have anybody on the line that wants to ask a question? I have Amy here. Amy, I'm going to add you to the stream here. And let's say hello to Amy as she moderates our show. Hello, everyone. That's Amy from
Hi,
Seattle.
guys. Hi, everyone.
All right. Do we have any questions, or anybody that has any pain point that they would like for me to address? And I would love to do that.
I don't see any questions in the feed yet.
Maybe they're going to add that up. Oh, hey. Oh, here. Okay. So there's a few more people coming in. All right.
I'm asking the question in the feed itself. Okay. Amy Yelk. Amy Yelk says, overweight, lack of money, and no relationship. Amy, do you have a specific question?
Those are her questions, I think. So what do you want me to address first, okay. Amy? That would be good.
Let's go in the order.
All right. Let's start with her first question, if that's okay. So, Amy, I'm going to have you just sit still, and we're going to just connect you to Earth and God, right? So I'm going to start with that. All right. So, Amy, how long have you had the overweight, Amy? Can you please type in how long have you been overweight? I don't see the thing there yet. Okay, so there's a little bit of delay in our show, so that's please pardon us for that. So what I'm going to do with Amy is, Amy, I'm going to have you really bring, for 7 years now, 7 years of overweight. Okay. So I'm going to have you, Amy, squat down, because I want you to feel your body really fast. And you can hold on to your ankles, okay? Just kind of embrace your ankles, or even the bottom of your feet. And then just curl like a ball. So I'm going to first connect you to Mother Earth and connect you to Divine Source, and then bubble you. And I'm going to have you really call your energy back to you, okay? So this looks like your blue soul has been traveling. You're such a great multi-dimensional healer. And you are here for a reason, because you're like scouting, who am I going to help first, right? That's you. You have such an open heart, and you really want to help as many people as possible. So what I'm getting here from your higher guidance is, go back to your body right now, and really, I'm going to delete your weakness in your internal and external boundaries, and internal and external dynamics and vortices, okay? So let's take a deep breath and just call your name to you, call your blue soul to you 3 times. And really breathe in and out, just breathing in blue and blue. So you feel like the energy goes from the earth, and then it goes all the way up to your feet and through your whole body, through the back of your spine to the top of your head. And then bring in the same blue energy down in front of you, all the way down to your pubic bones, okay? Right, so the adrenal fatigue, sorry, that's another A, sorry. So let's start with Amy. Amy Yelk. Okay, so Amy, you're here now, perfect. So now I want you to be really, I'm gonna delete any old trauma, okay? This is past life trauma also. a lot of conflicts in the past. So generational conflicts and tribal conflicts. So I want you to unplug from all the healers right now. So any other healer in the world, okay? And know that you have a special gift because only you and your audience can connect. Like there is a special type of people. You're actually looking for bigger people, like people that actually have more reach, meaning to say they can be working at a corporate job, or they can be they can be a big supervisor and they're manning like multiple people. Like that's the type of energy that I'm sensing that you need to connect with, instead of just individual, like a business owner that's just starting, because your energy field is so big and you can actually reach so much. That's why your reach is global. So if you can figure out your ideal client, like really sit down and write that down, that would help you so much, right? To really broadcast to the whole world, because your energy is huge. So for some people, it's intimidating. So then they're like, well, I don't want to work with her, but because I don't think that I deserve her presence. So that's you. You are so big and global in your reach that you actually need a person, a client that has that kind of energy signature. Okay. So instead of you working on other people's issue one by one, no, you need to work on one big person that has multiple reach. So does that help you, Amy? You tell me what happened right now when I just said that. What happened to your body? Can you type in the comment? What is there's nothing yet, right? She's probably just coming in.
Yes, it's
So
still it's there's
yeah,
still that
that's
delay.
fine. There's a little bit of delay. Yeah, so the lack of money, that's really going to be resolved as soon as you create your packages, Amy. And then pretty much the
She says it
relationship.
feels right and she's relaxed.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. Okay, so Belen has another question here. Seems like she has some right low back and some aches. So Belen, from 0 to 10, how much pain do you have on that side? All right, so I'm going to start working on Belen. Okay, so Belen actually is carrying the weight of a big project in the Philippines. That's the right-sided pain. So Belen, if you can stand up tall and just be like a mountain. You see the mountains that we have on the background? I like my background because nature just allows you to be in the state of abundance, right? So stand up tall, and the anatomical position is your hands are like the palms are facing forward, and your feet are hip width apart. So just stand up tall like a mountain, and if you close your eyes and just really visualize the energy of how a mountain feels like, okay? And I'm gonna have you, Belen, ground to the earth all the way down. So when I say ground to the earth, I mean 4,000 miles below, because that's how far the earth is. So if you decide to create like golden roots from your feet, and then just really allow yourself to move all the way down to the center of the earth. By the way, you guys, that's a secret for money, right? For money flow, you have to be grounded. You have to have a foundation. So even for Amy a while back, right, she has to create a structure for a business, because when you have those elements, just like nature, because you walk by nature, you walk by a tree. The tree you planted, it was little, and then suddenly it grows, and then over the years it becomes this big old tree with a big trunk, right? It's so stable that any wind or any kind of push, or if a ball hits it, it doesn't go away, right? The tree stands tall. It's very, very grounded. That's the secret for money. And we know that everything is changing in the economy. So as Belen becomes this big mountain, and then she connects herself to God or divine source, that part allows you to really get divine messages from 5D, from the fifth dimension. When you start getting messages from your angels and you start getting like a nudge, right? So Belen was seeing a lot of 1111 everywhere in her clock, and she was seeing 1111 everywhere, and she's like, I think I need to do something about this. That's like the universe saying, hello, wake up, do something, start something, go towards your path, right? So as she grounds herself, and now, Belen, I want you to breathe out all the worry that you have. Because what I'm sensing here as the root cause of this is when she was younger, Belen is very responsible. And, as a child, sometimes there are circumstances in our lives, and we become a very responsible child, right? We take care of everyone and everything, sometimes including our parents, because sometimes they get sick, and we switch or reverse the role. We become the parent temporarily. But sometimes we feel good like that we are responsible, and somebody depends on us. That's okay short term. And when you keep on doing it as a pattern, you almost look for someone to take care of. It's like a codependency pattern, because that's just, we're humans. We love to connect. So Belen, right now, I want you to release and just breathe out as if you're returning all these worry, because the organization you're helping in the Philippines, they have a lot of worries. So you need to unplug from them by the end of each day. So like right now, you're here with me. The goal is for you to be able to be present 100% here. So if you can release the energy back to them, go ahead and just breathe that out. Good. A little bit more. So I can see the energy as it releases from Belen, right? So I can start seeing the release. It's going down her legs. And by the way, I heard Belen also has some foot pain or something like that. So as you return the energy back to their higher self, the organization's higher self. So if it's a person, we return it back to the higher person, the person's higher self. If it is an organization, if you guys can visualize like a building, where they hold their office, I ground that building and connect that to source, to God as well. And then I start moving the energy back to that building. Good. So now as Belen keeps on releasing that, and I do see that there's some karma there. So karma comes in different forms, right? It could be direct, indirect, or partial indirect. Direct means you've heard of, like when you do something good to others, it comes back to you, or bad to others, it also comes back to you. So that's a direct karma. That means usually like a husband and wife may have a direct karma, because how we love each other, but we fight. We fight like tigers with each other as well. So that's a direct karma, because there's a lesson that needs to be learned, perhaps a new way of communication, or a new way of loving each other. So that's direct. Indirect means perhaps like your husband has like ancestors in the past that they were Christians, but then maybe your ancestors in the past were Muslims and they were fighting each other. So somehow the two of you become the indirect karma in order to resolve that fight or conflict with one another. So that's indirect karma. An indirect partial karma is, for example, your grandchildren, like 100 years from now, has some form of a karma with your in-law, like your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. So you can see how there's like a lineage issue there, but somehow we don't know that until we start to resolve those things and we make the family a place of harmony and peace. Okay, Belen said a 4. What's the 4, Belen?
That was her pain level. Her pain level was at 4.
Okay,
in the
was
beginning.
that the beginning or was that the end of the pain level? Like, how did it change? What happened? We need to see the change. So you can see how you can actually shift that really quick as long as you can get to the root cause of it. Um, while we're waiting, I'm going to go to Angela Page, right? So Angela, the adrenal fatigue, of course, the adrenal fatigue and the weight gain are kind of interrelated, because when the adrenals are working so much, right, we have an increased production of cortisol. So then you have a weight gain. But what I'm seeing is the adrenal fatigue is coming from you. You are carrying your ancestors' issue. So whatever problems and a stress level and worry and concern that your ancestors, especially on the mother side, are carrying, you are holding on to it. So your homework is to actually breathe the same blue that I was sharing with the rest of the group here. And the position is, if you lie down on the floor and then you just put your legs up like a 90-degree angle, like on a couch, and then you just breathe blue and blue, as if you're dumping all of the concerns of your ancestors, ancestral, maternal, right, stresses and worries down into the ground. You can visualize a bed of golden roses underneath, to, or like crystal quartz, like clear crystal quartz, to just vacuum all of those stresses out from your back, right? And then bring in, really ask your divine guides to bring you your own soul purpose, so that you can start working on your own life rather than working on everybody else's life. Okay. All right. Oh, good. So Belen, oh, Amy, take a look at that. So Belen said, can you see her
Yes.
response? Can you
I
read it
can,
for
yes. So she, in the beginning, yeah, so in the beginning, she had a pain level at 4. It is
me?
now a level of 1. She felt
Wow.
emotional initially, but now feels more energy to do her spiritual work, and she's receiving downloads right now.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah,
Good job, Belen.
amazing, amazing.
Amazing. I think we have one more. We have room for one more, right? So we'll see
Yes,
how
so
Amy.
Pam.
So Amy Page, you can go ahead and do that exercise, and then give us a comment afterward. We'll be happy to help you out and see what happened. So I think with Pam, what is Pam experiencing here?
She's got pain in her ankles and legs.
Ooh, okay, Pam. Okay, so Pam, go ahead, and if you can stand up, better. But then if you want to just sit down on a chair, it's perfectly fine. When I look at that, your ankles, oh, okay. So you've been releasing a lot. So Pam is in one of my programs, the 90-day success, and she has been releasing a lot. So of course, when we release energies, right, it has to go through our feet. It has to go out through our foot chakra. But ankles are about decision making. And we all know that the pandemic is a portal. So it's a way for us to re-examine our lives and go, okay, is my life working, or should I do something else? Is my life working as far as my health is concerned, my relationship, or my money flow? So Pam, I know you're here again making a decision. So ankles are about decisions. So if you start with bigger concepts like, okay, so if I would like my life to have ease, grace, and flow, and if you start looking at your life, like today, your life, does it look like ease, grace, and flow? So if you have a lot of these struggles and sacrifice, so let's delete that. I'm going to connect your ankles and feet to your midline, which is your central nervous system, and then your central nervous system to your ankles and feet to 100% infinite potential. I'm going to put some golden roses underneath the bottom of your feet, but you're going to have to allow yourself to let go of all the things you've been carrying in the past that's so heavy, because somehow they're not yours, right? So, guys, the truth is very light. When you feel the truth, let's say somebody tells you you're beautiful, and then you can't accept it, right? I mean, you don't have to compare yourself with all the models and the beauty queens. So, of course, that's the world, right? There's like a standard. But if they told you you're beautiful, you don't know what they mean, right? Well, but you have in your mind a perception of what's beautiful. So, if life is easy, graceful, and flowing, what would that look like to you? So, I want you to bring in a lot of golden sun, like a beautiful sun, right? A golden sunshine made of gold, and it's liquid. So, I want you to run that through your body and just allow it to go through your ankles and feet and just your legs. Just let it go, and then allow the heavy energy there, the clutter in your ankles and feet, because there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And if you could just know that you can make the decision very easily, it's a yes and a no. It doesn't have to be very tedious. It doesn't have to involve step by step. So, what if it's just a switch, knowing that it can be easy, graceful, and flowing? So, go ahead and bring it down. Bring that whole liquid gold down. And just think of it coming from the heavens. Like God's giving you this special gift that you don't have to suffer, right? So somehow you have agreed to suffer in the past. So when you start to decide that, I think I'm done with the suffering part, I'm okay with not suffering anymore, then you can flip that switch and change it. Okay, so that's changing. So I want you to really open your feet chakra, Pam. It looks like a camera lens at the bottom of your first and second toes. You can make it bigger if you like, and really breathe. You may even have to stomp your feet because you're not quite releasing that. Angela made a comment again. So Angela, please do the exercise I shared with you right now, and then see what happens to your bloating. It is part of the adrenal syndrome that because the adrenals, unfortunately, has a lot of nerves that supply every single part of your digestive system. And so it goes around in a way that allows you to have the effect in your belly. Okay, so do the blue and blue. So this is the thing, right? Healing is good. Now, the goal is to really allow yourself to feel the changes, in your body. If you've done that at least 30 minutes, then you're going to feel the difference in the bloating. Yep, I can tell you that. So, and it may be also that you don't think it'll work that fast. Okay. So if you have a belief system that you know that, oh, well, I've been sick before and it takes me forever to get better, well, that's going to be your reality. And if you start to really connect all of your organ systems to your midline, your central nervous system, then you're going to start to feel better about yourself. Okay. All right. So I want to see what Pam is feeling. And then we'll see what happens. So what I wanted to share with everyone is I have a free grounding video that a lot of you can use. And so I wanted to share this as a free gift for everyone today. So if you can please write this down. It's viviandeguzman.com/free grounding video. It takes you to a lot of the energy clearing work that I've already done, every system. So I know Angela can benefit from this because it takes you to the lymphatic system. It takes you to your circulatory system, your heart, right? We all carry some of these emotional baggages or even some of the mindset issues that our parents and ancestors and the society gave us in our body. So your body, when you come to me for healing, a lot of times I look at the person, I'm like, okay, the body is talking. The body is already screaming at you saying, can you please help me? Because it's not working so much here. So obviously all these organ systems have to communicate, right? They have to talk to each other. So the lymphatic system, that's your janitorial system. And if you tend to hold on to things and you don't release it with ease, grace, and flow, what would happen is you're going to start noticing your cells start to expand and you start to get bloated or swollen, and there's stagnation in the system, right? So almost like a, you know how the river flows, right? But then if you find just a pond, it's just still, right? Some days we need to be still. Some days we need to be moving. So our body responds to whatever we give it. It's very, very intelligent, but it also knows how to heal. So if you can't let go, there's a system there for the lymphatics, right? You can release that. And I go through all the healings there because, as you can see with all these people that I am reading their energy, sometimes the problem is spiritual. Sometimes they have an emotional attachment towards something or someone. Sometimes it's just the mindset. Like some people, they get love when they get sick. So when they're ill, right? Remember the times, I remember it when I was younger. When I'm sick, I was sick, right? My mom would put Vicks on my chest. And it seems like I have her undivided attention. And as my mom got older, it's almost like their mindset is, as I get older, I'm going to get sicker. So then she becomes that, right? And when you have your own life and then you look at the person is like, oh my God, I'm so busy. How am I going to divide my time to my mom and to my children, to my husband, to my business, right? All of those are happening. And it becomes almost a nuisance that she's always looking for attention. And I realized that the more I prevent that, in other words, if I am consistent with me calling her on the phone, making sure she's okay, the love is there, then she doesn't get as sick. But then if I wait too long, then she has an emergency when I'm super busy with whatever I'm doing. So do you see that pattern of behavior that comes with that, right? So if you can't let go, there's a recording there called colon, like your large intestines have to release. But in Chinese medicine, the lungs and the colon are like yin and yang, right? So then you have to listen to, if you have some sorrow, recurring cold, some patterns that you always get sick with, some allergy symptoms, you may have to start working on your lungs or your kidneys or sometimes your head. Okay. Sometimes we just think too much, that when our kidneys are stressed, because that's the home base for stress, it is related to our ears. So for those of you with ear problem like tinnitus or tinnitus, maybe an imbalance, right? The kidneys and the ears are somehow interrelated based on Chinese medicine. So your body is interrelated, just like all of us in the world are interrelated. So can you see, if you actually clear your energy, if you actually are conscious of how you're behaving, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and you're always in a state of just a high frequency, like you feel good, of course you're going to get better, if that makes sense, right? Cool. Amy, do we have any more questions so far? So I want them to get the free grounding video because it'll take them to that program, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. Okay. And you guys, we're running this promotion for like 2 weeks. So you have till the end of May to have me in your living room to really bring the energy of clarity and releasing any kind of old patterns that you may have. Because see, when you don't have clutter, honestly, you can find the right clients. If you have a business, you can find the right relationship. It's like you're like what do you call that light? The light that attracts people. That becomes you.
You become the lighthouse. Yes.
A lighthouse. Right. So we live in an attraction-based universe. So if you're thinking negative, unfortunately, within 17 seconds, whatever you're feeling gets magnified and you just attract it. So if you're frustrated this morning, you're going to be more frustrated, because if you're not changing that, right, you're going to be like that for the whole day. So your choice. because the goal here is you have to be aware. And sometimes we have so much interference, right? That's why I unplug from the collective every day. And I go, okay, what would I like my world to look like today? Because that's the world I want to live in. Okay, so do we have any more questions so far? I think I have one more question to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pam responded. So she said she felt very emotional and you hit the bullseye. Time to flip the switches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how is your leg
and
doing?
let's see.
Oh,
She didn't mention yet. Amy Yelk says, "Thank you so much for your help in healing, Vivian. I appreciate it very much."
thank you for being part of our show.
Angela Page says, "Thank you so much. I will look into this. Everything you're saying is me. My mom used to put Vicks on my chest as well." Yeah, that's beautiful.
We must have the same mom or something. So yeah, I used to carry my mom's energies a lot, just to let you know, okay?
Mhm.
So this codependency thing, I don't even know that word in the past. And look at this, if you guys are healers, when someone comes in front of you, it's like a mirror image of you. It could be you when you were younger, or your younger version of yourself. And so every time I read someone and I clear their energy, right? I have to look at my energy field and go, do I have any pictures? Because it looks like a movie to me, literally, you guys. When I read someone, I feel like I'm in front of a theater. That's why I usually I don't watch movies very much, because my life has full of movies every single day when I treat clients. Billen said Vicks was how our Filipino moms showed their love when we're sick. Yes, that's so true.
Mhm.
I even was laughing at Joe Coy one time when I was watching his Netflix show, right? Everything is Vicks. Even my husband right now still puts Vicks in everything. Okay, that's the funny part. Okay, so yeah, Angela. So look at that and really separate your energy from your mom's energy, because you guys, oh my God, um, it is so profound when you realize that you're thinking like your mother. But you're like, but I wish, consciously I said, I'm never going to be like that. I said, right? But then sometimes, because I sometimes look over my shoulder here and I go, whoa, I just sounded like her. So sometimes we become the person we don't want to be, right? But that's the goal. We were put together because there are some things that I love about my mother, and there's some things that I don't like so much about that, right? So those are the things that I have to consciously shift, because if her energy signature is inside of me, by the way, that's not normal. Even your angels, real true angels, do not enter our boundaries. Okay, so we have aura, or energetic boundaries, we call it. Angels do not trespass people's boundaries. That's why, as healers, even I don't read people just because I see them on the street. Okay, I used to when I started this kind of work, because it's fascinating to me that you can see things. But if you look at HIPAA violation or invasion of boundary or privacy, please do not read anyone if they are not asking you to be read by them. So if they're not a client, they have to show up in the physical plane and be open to this kind of work. Because honestly, if you can release the spiritual issues that's plaguing this person, their relationship, their emotions, their physical issues start to go away. Why? Because when we enter any room, this big field, the spiritual field, is what people first recognize about us. Like, you may look dazzling, fascinating, you're beautiful, but there's something about you and they cannot figure out what it is. That is your spiritual boundary. You project that everywhere you go. Right here on this TV show, you project that when you enter a networking event. If you're with your family members and you really don't want to be around them anyway, they're going to feel that, even if you don't say anything the whole time. Okay. So I just want to share that with you. Okay. So Pam said her legs are so much better. Yay.
And then if
That's
we have time for one more, Rosemary had some questions.
okay. All right. What
Yep.
was the
So
let's see.
Rosemary says she's had allergy type symptoms for months now, but
Mhm.
also feels a sore throat, congestion, and headaches. She
Mm,
believes it's allergies because she doesn't believe she's been sick for this long. She's not sure what it is.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
So for her, I know she just had a baby. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Rosemary.
Yeah. So Rosemary, you do have to yeah, clear almost not twice a day, but 3 to 4 times a day to really feel better. And you may have to really fortify your energetic boundaries. Okay. So repeat after me. So just focus on your midline. You may have to say this 12 times today. You're going to have to delete your weakness in your internal and external boundaries, internal and external dynamics and vortices. So part of it is she didn't give herself time to really take a break. You know how after we deliver a child, I did the same before, right? You get excited, but I also had two businesses. I was running two board and cares back then. So your mind is busy, right? And you almost have this feeling like I'm a mom. I have to be with my son if, you know, he was in NICU before. So it was that lack of rest. Like if you really just took off 2 weeks break at that time, but you didn't, right? So now you have to fortify your now you strengthen your internal and external dynamics and vortices and internal and external boundaries. Okay. So you're going to say that delete my weakness in my internal and external boundaries, internal and external dynamics. Those are the communication of your organs with each other to your central nervous system. And if you can do that, like just go outside for a while, it may just take you like 5 minutes or so, and say those words and then strengthen yourself to be neutral to 100% infinite potential, like your ability to really build a nice solid foundation of your boundary, like all those 7 layers of your the 7 rainbow colors, to really fortify that, like make it thick. We're talking thick, thick, like 10 feet thick. Your bubble should be really thick, full of gold, and really feeling safe and secure in your body first before you even take care of your children. So if you could do that today, I would love to hear from you after, because you need that self care. So you have to almost do the self care in the morning, like literally before you even start your day, for maybe the first 15 minutes is just yours, nobody else. And then you can go ahead and take care of your family. If you do that, so today you're going to have to repeat that 12 times, but 4 times today. And that would really shift your energy to something that would benefit everyone. So we can go back to when you had the baby, right? But you can shift the energy now so that you take care of yourself first and then you share your goodness and love to your children. Okay? All right. So I wanted to invite everyone, Amy, to this Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise program. Like I said, it
Mhm.
is available to all of you. You're going to have to use the coupon code Deep Soul Healing. So you get $500 off just for the next 2 weeks. And I hope that you would enjoy that program. All of my clients that sometimes they want to see me, but they're like, well, how can I help myself? Which is good, right? Because that's the goal. You want to help them shift their own energy. So then they just listen to the recording, whether it's lungs, liver, heart, lymphatics, spleen, right? Especially now, the immunity, we need to build that up. So if you have some obsession issues, spleen is a good recording for that. Okay, so well, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, Amy, for facilitating, and
You're
thank you
welcome.
all
Thank you.
that showed up. So yeah, the coupon code is Deep Soul Healing. There it is. So I hope you guys see that. Thank you very much for everyone. And I will see you again next week. And next week is about family values. So if you'd like to come and kind of see how I actually clear some of those issues in the family setting, it'll be next Wednesday at 10. So I will